Welcome back to another Stock Market Open Live. Look at this. Bitcoin nicely over the 69 level. 69, pretty big level. It's also over the 69 420 level, which was the level right before Donald Trump took the stage that Bitcoin had topped out at. Look at that, 69 420. We have passed that 69 420 peak right now, and you bottomed afterwards at 66666. And so some interesting numbers there on top and bottom. And now you're somewhat off to the races there. Look at that. 69.6. A lot of enthusiasm this week. This week, a lot of catalysts as well. We've got McDonald's that just reported first sales decline since 2020. You've got a lot of big cap tech coming this week. Obviously, they will set the mood for how this economy decides to move. So we'll see. It's gonna be really interesting. This week, I think, is gonna be a really big tell. The best case scenario for, quite frankly, anyone in business is that this week goes really well, because you don't want to price in a weaker Fed, a Fed that's going to take more time, and earnings that start rolling over, because it won't be good for markets. If that doesn't happen this week, then we should be good until at least October, which would be really nice, because it'd give more opportunities for businesses to function and work, and not start acting recessionary. So we'll see. But that's my POV. I think earnings are unfortunately likely to meet or disappoint, but we would find out. So McDonald's this morning came in with revenue that missed, $6.49 billion. First year-over-year decline in comp sales since 2020. Their adjusted EPS missed. They actually didn't fall that much. It's almost like people were sort of expecting these restaurants to be in somewhat of a recession. And I don't see any kind of guide. They do still see adding restaurants in 2024. I think that's probably because that's how they think they're going to grow seats. Not seats. That's how they're going to grow. That's like, I'm thinking SaaS business. That's how they're going to grow customers showing up at the business, which makes sense. One of the things that a lot of restaurants have been complaining about is that people just aren't showing up. So it's a lot more than just what's the price. It's how do you get people to actually come in the first place? Do not come. Anyway, all right. So Mickey D's, they will have a little bit of growing to do, dare I say. All right. What else? So this week, a lot of fun with earnings for sure. $10. The Universal Goat says, we were firing Gary Gensler, Kevin. Also, what are your thoughts on escalating Mid-East tensions? Yeah. Well, I think Palantir is some of the only real AI that you actually have right now. I think they're pretty great. That and full self-driving. The expansion of tensions, with Israel being attacked, following Gaza attacks, following the October 7th attack, leading now to Lebanese, attacks. Well, basically attacks in Lebanon. I guess we wouldn't call those Lebanese. But anyway, it's just bad. Because it's just a matter of time before somebody really blows up. And then you start getting more regional tensions, like, Turkey gets involved or whatever. That's not ideal at all. So, but as far as, firing Gary Gensler, a lot of enthusiasm around that. Even Donald Trump was surprised with how much enthusiasm there was for that. He said it himself. Wow, didn't realize y'all hated him that much. I thought it was pretty funny. Also, kind of feel bad, somewhat, because the SEC has been so bound by a lack of guidance from courts or from Congress, and they've kind of been stuck in this place of like, well, we really have guidance. Like, how are you going to regulate? And then, you know, you just had that Chevron doctrine overturned, which would suggest that agencies would have the freedom to regulate. But that's taken away, which, you know, is a good thing for smaller government. But, again, it just sort of delays the SEC from being able to interpret rules. And so that's why you've got all these court battles. So it's a tough place to be in for someone like Gary because, you know, you get a job and it's like, all right, follow what the agency... you know, what the agency's rule book is. And it's like, all right, well, where's crypto in this? And it's like, it's not. So, you know, it's kind of a tough thing. It's a new innovation. It's kind of the cycle that things have to go through. Anyway, taking a look at the pre-market here, you can see BTCs is almost at 70K. Everything's basically up. The Qs are up 89 bips. The Russell's up 78. This makes sense. You know, Thursday, we didn't get the bounce we thought. Now it looks like it's going to be Friday, Monday. And really, we'll start getting our earnings tomorrow. I mean, obviously, we got the McDonald's miss this morning, but earnings really in earnest will be a little more entertaining starting tomorrow and the next day. You'll also get tomorrow, you get the JOLTS report, some real estate numbers. On Wednesday, you get the Fed, ADP employment. You get initial claims on Thursday. You get the jobs report on Friday. Combine all of that craziness with the earnings that we're going to get this week. You know, Meta, Amazon, ARM, Apple, Microsoft. Be some big earnings. So we will see. All right, let's see here. So, some people say McDonald's better than feared sales. Nice. Let me see. Is it up now? No, yeah, look at that. It's up about 23 basis points now. You know, it's interesting to me. People are like, oh, Nikki Leaks confirmed a September cut. He didn't say that anywhere in his piece. You know, I read it and I'm like, I don't know, man, that was a pretty weak article. I mean, I'll pull it up. Maros, there we go. So, the article was, okay. Give that a second there. There we go. All right, so the article was this. A rate cut is finally within view. Central bank officials meet in the coming week, looking ahead to a September cut to maximize chances of a soft landing. Okay, so Fed officials aren't likely to change rates in the coming week, obviously, but their meeting will be the most consequential in a while. Each time in 4 years, interest rate cuts have been a question for later. This time, inflation and labor markets should allow officials to signal. Should. What the heck is this? It's spam. Oh yeah, I totally just got spam attacked. Oh, that's unfortunate. Wow. That closed out the whole page. Come on, Wall Street Journal. It's ridiculous. Okay. I guess I'll have to do that again. One sec. That's weird. So, let's see here. Here we go. Okay. Should allow officials to signal a cut is very possible at the next meeting in September. This is really all suggested. But what I thought was interesting is nowhere in it, I don't think he did. No, he didn't mention Jackson Hole at all. So, you know, I was really surprised by this, that, you know, this is what the market's expecting, right? The market is expecting the Fed to signal a cut in, you know, for September. which is fine. I don't know that the Nick T article really signals anything more than what the market expects. And I'm surprised that he didn't balance this with Jackson Hole. But otherwise, this wasn't that much of a slam dunk. So, you know, having read through the whole thing a few times, I'm like, I mean, maybe, but this is what the market expects, that you would get this on, you know, tee up for September. But others think he can get through and wait for some of the data coming out in August. I think that's really interesting. All right, so what else? Grumpy Pants says there will be no cuts this year. Yeah, I think that's interesting because the market is pricing in a 100% certainty of cuts in September. Like, the market's already priced in September anyway. It doesn't really matter what J. Powell says. Unless, of course, he tries to undo that, which I don't think he will. 1.094 cuts priced in for September, 1.7 cuts priced in for November, 2.7 priced in for December. So I guess if there are people like Grumpy Pants here who still say no cuts this year, then yeah, I guess teeing up rate cuts could be bullish. All right, let's see here. The bots got yeah, no kidding. Oh yeah, look at that. BTC popping up a little bit here, trying to break out of that that little trend we've just been in this morning. It's about to be at 70. Last Jackson Hole just closed the effing door. What is that? I don't see rate cuts in the foreseeable future. Yeah, that's interesting because it's very counter to what the market is pricing in. Yeah. All right, so we'll see what happens here. The expectation still holds that Thursday, which ended up being a dump, but my expectation last week was that Thursday, Friday, Monday would be potential bounce days, and it looks like you're getting a bounce today. Now the question is, will earnings hold for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Let's see what earnings are tomorrow. Today we had McDonald's this morning. Yeah, today we don't really have anything exciting. Okay, interesting. So tomorrow morning, let's see here. Let's write this down. Tuesday morning, we'll have SoFi, PayPal. I don't think any of these are really going to be market movers, but it will be interesting to get these. So you get SoFi and PayPal, PG, so Procter & Gamble. Let's see what else. JetBlue tomorrow. All right. JetBlue. Okay, Tuesday. Oh yeah, that'll be a big deal. So Tuesday afternoon, that'll be very interesting. Oh, thanks for saying that, Alicia. That's awesome. Okay, Tuesday afternoon we'll get AMD, MSFT. I should write that out. Microsoft, Starbucks, Pinterest, and ooh, Lemonade and First Solar. That'll be interesting. A little catalyst in there for Enphase as well. AMD, Microsoft, Starbucks, Pinterest, and Caesars. Okay. So that'll be tomorrow afternoon. So really today, you don't really have a lot of catalysts. I mean, you just had McDonald's today, which, even though they had their first sales miss since 2020, they're actually slightly positive. It just wasn't as bad as people feared there. Okay. Let's pull that up again. So I'm watching to see if there are any pings from their earnings call as well. But first sales, let's write that down. First sales decline since 2020. Better than feared. That's the way to put it. Better than feared. Yeah, and then they're gonna add, expecting to add potentially 1,600 stores, which is pretty wild. That's a lot of an ad. Expecting to add 1,600 stores in what time frame? In 2024. Wow. Okay. All right, let's see here. Stock traders' optimism builds ahead of big week. This is a big week. Fed, earnings. Let's see here. What else? Financial markets have started on a pretty favorable tone, both for equities and fixed income. Over the next few days, we get a smorgasbord of potential drivers. Central bank, BOJ, Fed, BOE, earnings, 4 of Mag 7, economic data, ISMs, payrolls. We've had big weeks before, but this one feels different. You can see through the prism of implied volatility, the average 1 week vol is the highest since March of last year. Ooh, implied volatility. Yeah, baby. Give me some of that vol again. Okay. Let's see what yields are doing now. Okay. Wow. The 10-year is down at 4.15. It's down 5 basis points today. It's pretty good. And if I go to the 2-year, it's sitting at, it's not down as much. 4.37. So we're 22 basis points inverted. Still not enough to go uninverted. Usually when that skyrockets, we see pain in the stock market. So last week when we had some pain, you saw that sort of move. All right, what else? So that's, we got through Tuesday after the close. Wednesday, may as well just write it out quickly. Wednesday before the bell. Wednesday will be, well, I guess worth mentioning, it's Fed Day. Fed Day. And then, yeah, do we have any other? It's, oh, Jolts is on the 30th. So that's tomorrow morning. So, and they are expecting Jolts to be 8055K. So just over 8 million job openings. You don't want to see that suddenly collapse in the 7s. And then ADP would be Wednesday morning. Okay. And Fed Day. ADP employment. Caesars. Ooh, yes, the casinos. Oh, I noticed, as Ross says, the casinos are doing really well. At least everyone you talk to there suggests they're pretty busy. But anyway, Caesars, Boeing. Ooh, Wingstop. I hope it crashes. After Wingstop, we'll have MasterCard and Kraft. And nothing too exciting that morning. But Wednesday afternoon will be fun because you'll have Meta, ARM, and Qualcomm. Ooh. Yeah, that'll be entertaining. Okay, so we'll live stream all of these, I think, as I really want the first-hand look at all this sort of data here. But, yeah, Meta, ARM, Qualcomm, Go Carvana reports Wednesday as well. Kind of be interesting to see how they're holding up with margins in this environment. So we'll look at them too. Lamb Research. Oh, Etsy. Oh, that'll be interesting too. Cheesecake Factory. Western Digital. So much. So much is. I work on the Strip in Las Vegas. Very busy for summer. Better than last summer. Nice. Yeah, that's what it seemed like. Housing crash incoming. Large investment firms selling at a loss. Well, I don't know. I think that really is location dependent and type of real estate dependent. Give some non-financial advice about Bitcoin. Well, absent a bad week this week, I think before the election it could get to 80 to 100K. Unless, of course, you had a really bad week this week. Long term, like very long term, I don't know, you know, how, like what its ultimate cap will end up being. But I probably think it's lower than a lot of people do. Crypto Milk is not happy. Maybe Crypto Milk, why don't you actually give like some commentary rather than just being a jerk? But then again, you know, that's pretty common because most of the people who are like leaving nasty comments are like 19 and they're like, oh, I don't actually know what to say. It's just easier to be mean because I don't even know myself. That's all right. The guy's name is Crypto Milk. I mean, what kind of perspective could he possibly have outside of Crypto Moon? So, Thursday morning, you get Moderna, Wayfair. It'll be a little boring. Moderna, Wayfair. Oh, Roblox. Oh, Gall comes back with the Head and Shoulders daily post for the Qs. Well, what will Deadpool box office numbers contribute to inflation? I don't think anything at all. I don't think that a strong economy means inflation. I actually think a strong economy means deflation. So I'm a little bit different from people in that. It's just governments just take advantage of a strong economy to print money. And that's why we have inflation at all. If there's no money printing, there'd just be substantial deflation. Alright, so it's really Thursday afternoon that gets really entertaining. I mean, we should have enough information by tomorrow afternoon to know. Tomorrow afternoon, Wednesday morning, like, should have enough information to know if you should be tripling down on shorts or if you're covering and going, alright, never mind. The party's gonna keep going. Either can happen. I personally hope the party keeps going. I'm just less doubtful, or I should say more doubtful that it will. Okay, but anyway, so Thursday afternoon is a lot because you have Cloudflare, DoorDash, Amazon, Apple, Intel, Coinbase, Roku, DraftKings, Block, and Snap. Wow. Oh, you'll also have Rocket Mortgage. Well, that's interesting. Write that down. RKT. Rocket Mortgage. And then Friday, you have the jobs report. Jobs report. And we're expecting for jobs on Friday. Oh, yeah, and then the ISMs Thursday morning. Write that down, too. And then we'll have the whole catalyst written down for the week. So that's going to be ISM, manufacturing, and prices paid. And then for the unemployment report, we're expecting that to stay at 4.1 with 175,000 jobs. Expecting 170K jobs and 4.1% unemployment. I'm not really worried so much about the unemployment report. Just more concerned about earnings. That's it. Trump shouted Bitcoin to the moon, and that's a pretty clear bullish signal. Right. Right. because Donald Trump has that power. Let's see here. Hello from Switzerland. Hello. Oh, thank you, Alexander. Let's see. Market has proven to be overactive and irrational. Well, I mean, in the short term it does. In the long term, the market's actually generally really good. Just looks for a reason to rally, then unprices whatever it used to pump, so we need to get some data to correct it. Yeah. Well, that's my take, is go into this week neutral until you get data, prepared to go in either direction. All right, let's see here. Okay, hold on. A lot of comments here about CryptoMail. Okay. Did Netflix go up again? Let's see. A strong economy. What did you GPT this? A strong economy could mean deflation instead of inflation if productivity gains outpace demand, leading to lower production costs and prices. Additionally, increased competition and technological advancements can further drive prices down, resulting in deflation. That sounds pretty GPT to me. But yeah, it's pretty good. That's pretty much what I meant, in a little bit more of a sophisticated manner. So, let's put that up on the screen. Let's see here. Hello from Vietnam. Hello. Okay. Thoughts on AMD? I actually think AMD is a really good company, and that they'll be able to catch up by making some really great products for to compete with NVIDIA. I'm still not convinced, though, that the demand for that product will last forever. And the growth rates will last forever. Markets seem to think that, but I don't know. I don't think that. I think AI has really cool uses in some places, but honestly, don't think most of it is actually AI. But whatever. A lot of people talking. Let's see here. Where's my update on the bull bear meter? Well, probably at about 4.5 going into this week. But going into Friday, if everything turns out positive this week, and I've been clear about this over the last week, if this week is positive, as in JPOW does signal cuts, all the earnings are good, I'll probably be able to flip from 4.5 to like 7. Like, I still wouldn't go all in, but you'd be able to drop hedges. Oh. Jolan. Thank you. That's a J, not a G. Oh, interesting. All right. So what else? All right. So next is, let's take a peek at what some folks are saying here. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's look over here. So we've got counter strikes from Israel. We've got number of $5 meals sold above expectations at McDonald's. Oh, good for them. Less confident in a Chinese consumer. CEO speaking on the earnings call, working on details of future value profile. Oh, well, that's good. All right. That's worth writing down. So, number of $5 meals sold over expectations. That's good. That means of the people who are coming in, you're selling more of those. But that probably contributed to the sales decline. So, let's see what else we have here. Okie dokie. Reuters poll. Greater risk interest rates end 2024 higher than forecast and lower than lower. Well, I mean, some of that's going to come down to earnings this week as well, right? McDonald's says demand is falling amongst the lower income. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Everyone's been saying that. Lower income. Which is unfortunate, but it's just the way it is right now. You know, inflation really hits the lower incomes. It's always the lower incomes that get screwed. Last to benefit, first to get screwed from economic corrections. Anyway. How is my... There we go. Apple Pencil is getting stuck. Alright, we'll see what some of the suits have to say today as well. But demand falling among families in Europe as well. Oh, I think it's so interesting. Having sort of a little watch on what's going on with the earnings call at McDonald's. I wonder how that's affecting their stock right now, because mostly the market seems to be enthusiastic today. I just made a video, by the way, on Biden and the Supreme Court. If you wanted to hear the Supreme Court talk. Yeah, let me make sure the title is searchable. So the video is... Oh, no, I didn't put the Supreme Court. I'll put that in the title. Biden's Supreme Court plan and... There we go. Okay, if you go on my channel, it's the second to last video I posted. I just changed the title to Biden's Supreme Court plan and Kamala Harris's plot for president. It's actually pretty good. It's like 34 minutes long, and it just goes into like depth about Trump versus Harris and some of her policy plans. And I think it's pretty useful. It also talks about the Supreme Court. All right. So let's listen in here for a moment while I pull up some more.
Portfolio, but that last point, I am diversifying, right? So I have seen the small caps. I do think there's something there. I'm looking at names like MicroStrategy, for example. You know, we saw the Nashville.
These people, they all copy each other. Do you notice that? It's like, one person says small caps will rate everybody in. And this is how you get mispositioning amongst these advisors all the time.
Thank you. Enjoy Paris. Enjoy the Olympics.
We are. Thank you.
We are. Let's take a quick final check on the markets before we hand it over to our good friends on Squawk on the Street. We've got a whole wall of what's going to be coming up, which I'll show you first. Right now, we're going to show you, we've got David Solomon on deck from Goldman Sachs, Evan Spiegel, Summer Sanders, and then Michael Johnson. So we've got so much that we're going to have on Squawk Box tomorrow morning.
Our final check on the markets. Look, they want us to go through quite a few boards. How much time do we have? All right, we got a little bit of time. Here are the futures that we're looking at right now, with 152 points for the Dow, 130 now for the Nasdaq, 23 on the S&P. I think we'll skip a couple of these and take a quick look at the 10-year, because we do have the Fed. See what happens. Nothing expected this week. That would be very surprising, but we will get that important jobs number that we'll see on Friday. We'll get a much better idea about whether there is maybe some cooling, which would allow, with inflation down, for a cut. So we'll do this again tomorrow. Make sure you join us.
All right, so let's get this up here. This is an interesting piece here. Goldman Sachs on the week. So you have markets higher going into the open. Nothing seems positive on the growth side from China. Oh, let me add this in here. Hold on one sec. Always takes a second for some reason to get that. There we go. Okay, there we go. So seems nothing yeah, there we go. Okay. Seems nothing positive on the growth side from China. Oil, crypto gone vertical after Trump's comments. I mean, I don't think they're paying attention. because it's basically at the same level as it was right before Trump's comments. Let me see about that. It's like $400. So to me, it's a sign they're not really paying attention to Bitcoin, but it's $400 higher than when he spoke. Okay, let's see what else here. Disinflation commodity chain is a persistent theme. Lack of domestic stimulus in China. Means more of that output finds its way into the export channel. That's deflationary. Deflationary. Last couple weeks can really be described as defensive degrossing. This is basically like, why market down? Last 2 weeks. Not Friday, Monday so far. Okay. In industrials, it was the worst reduction we've seen. So CTA supply is now firmly for sale. So this is commodities trading and advisors, and they have some of the highest positioning in stocks they've had in a very long time. They do suggest this is emblematic potentially of a rotation. That's sort of the common theme that we're seeing right now. Trump and Republican sweep odds have come down precipitously. Well, I mean, in fairness, this also makes sense. Like, Kamala Harris actually has a chance versus no chance for Biden previously. Yeah, nobody was. You could not vote for Biden. Okay, market vol is exacerbating market moves. Spot vol remains elevated. Market's moving. Expected to remain elevated as we work through. An interesting way to put it. One of the busiest weeks of the year, with 3 central banks as well as 30% of the S&P 500 reporting. Fed should do nothing other than tee up the September rate cut. Yeah, let's see if they do that. And not expecting a July cut, obviously. Earnings, I think, are going to be somewhat more deterministic. That's what I'm saying. I think it's all going to be in earnings than the Fed. Because the Fed thing, it's like, all right, we already got it. September. Whether you say it or not, it doesn't really matter really much. We actually saw cyclicals versus defensives underperform in both Europe and the U.S. last week. Sales beats are difficult to come by, and I think there's more risk around second half guidance across more verticals. Yeah, that's not great. Let's see here. There we go. I think big picture, you're getting some structural deflation coming through. A lot of it is thanks to China. Inflation expectations have collapsed. Let's see here. I think the market has concluded that rate cuts will do more than counter any concerns on falling corporate profitability. I remain skeptical on cyclicality, specifically in the Eurozone. Okay. Interesting piece. So it kind of just sort of sets the stage for this week. This makes a lot of sense. It's interesting to hear Goldman also say what I mentioned this morning, which is I think earnings are going to be a lot bigger of a catalyst. But I'm going to write that down. Goldman Sachs believes earnings will be a bigger catalyst than the Fed this week. Fed should be predictable. That's why there's a risk of them not teeing up a cut, right? I'm going to write that down too. Hence, the risk is the Fed does not tee up a cut. Which could catch markets off guard, since that's so expected. All right, that's interesting. It's a good one. I like that. I like that one a lot. All right, so let's see what else there is. That was a little bit from the Goldman Sachs. How about... Who else is out here? Barclays. No, kind of boring. Morning research. No. How about, what do they got to say about this? Small cap research. What do you got to say? What do you guys like? Oh, these are some tiny companies. These are like 4 tiny bio companies. Yeah, that's boring. I don't know much about those. Tactical derivative strategy. Oh, they're talking about specific companies like Caterpillar and that. That's boring. Morning briefing from JP Morgan. Ooh. Let's see what the morning briefing has to say. Doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo. Futures higher with tech rebounding from last week's losses. Commodities mixed, oil lower. Enter one of the busiest Q1s. It's that same thing everybody's saying. Busiest weeks in this Q. We are entering one of the busiest weeks in Q1. I think they mean Q3. So I'm just gonna write that there, Q3. But that's all right. Who knows what they mean? Boring. Last week's losses were mainly driven by some notable earnings disappointments. That's the concern this week. Google and Tesla kicked off the week to start mega cap earnings amid high expectations. Despite the fact that Google reported solid numbers across the board, YouTube ads revenue missed. It was enough to create an 8% decline. I thought YouTube beat. Let me see. Maybe it did. Oh, was it specifically the ads rev? Oh, that's interesting. I could have sworn they beat. I'm going to look. Let's see what they say. Okay, I've got to go all the way back. Okay, here we go. Google Cloud beat. Google Ad beat. Oh, yeah, YouTube ads did miss. Oh. 866 versus 895. Wow, barely. But I thought they didn't. For me, I don't think it was YouTube. I think the stock fell when they talked about needing time for AI profitability. In fact, we watched the stock turn from positive to negative during the AI discussion in the call, not after the earnings data came out. So I disagree with that, JPM. Boring. The market still seems to be leaning towards stronger macro, weaker earnings scenario. However, we are still relatively early on the earnings calendar. This week's results will be critical to assess whether we can re-enter strong plus strong. Yep. I mean, everybody's teeing up the same concern this week. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? All right, what else here? This JP Morgan person thinks we're not setting up for another sell-off. I just get nervous when everybody's like, no, it's just a small little pullback. You know, when everybody's of the same mindset. But this week will tell. Current rotation is driven by extended positioning, potential cuts, exhaustion on the AI trade, in hopes for a broader catch-up of the S&P 500 493. Basically the other 493 outside of the Mag 7. There has not been very clear capitulation in equities. Well, duh. That's obvious. Market consensus. Okay, what is this? FactSet data says that with 41% of the S&P 500 reporting, 30% this week, and then what we had last week. Let's see here. Margins are holding. Maybe earnings will hold. Fine. Sentiment. AWS acceleration. Retail margin improvement. Logistical efficiencies. I actually think Amazon's a good one right now. Meta. Hedge funds soured a lot on the name of the past. Boring. Microsoft. Long-term stories clean. Gen AI. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and then they sort of repeat this, which I think we saw last week too. Actually, no. Well, yeah, they do give 3 examples here. 4, rather. Positioning Intel. Is it done yet? Whether referring to the market tech decline or the rotation/degrossing event. Yeah. Bottom line answer. We're not sure. Based on what we track, it's not very clear or outsized capitulation in equity, and it seems there's a desire to buy the dip. Yeah. So you need to, yeah, barring any negative surprises, we go higher. I agree. I just think this week's going to be a negative surprise, but semis, flows, and positioning have fallen back to levels from which they could rally again, but this assumes an uptrend since the start of the year would end up remaining intact. And the recent slowdown in retail sales don't take a turn lower. Hedge fund degrossing mostly stopped and performance stabilized. Hedge funds appear to be more bearish in restaurants and financials. Yeah, nobody really knows. Look at this. Tech and semis, are they safe to buy yet? Maybe, but it's not clear. If the uptrend remains intact, maybe. Retail flows could be seasonally weaker. Call puts coming off a recent spike. These are pretty interesting. Credit, institutional data. It's all a little boring. Okay, now we're just getting into charts. And then we get our calendar here, which we've kind of already gone through. All right. Well, that's pretty good. Oh, what is this? Higher for longer, favorable. What is this? Beneficiaries of higher for longer could be AI, momentum crowding, but there is momentum crowding and stock concentration at multi-decade extremes. Oh, okay, yeah, that's not good. Momentum crowding and stock concentration now at multi-decade extremes. Yikes. Oh well. We'll see. We shall see. But yeah, so far everything's mostly green here. I can't imagine trying to be too bullish on some of these numbers before we actually get the data this week. I'm just going to let the data decide. I personally, I hope it all rallies this week because I'd rather you know, do some cool things with business, which are a lot harder to do if you start having to price in a recession. That's just my take. So, let's see what else there is. Share of young adults living with parents is the highest since 1940. I mean, I think living with your parents is a great idea for as long as possible. You save so much money, it's great. Probably harder to get a date, though. Somewhat harder. Shouldn't be, but probably is. Okay, what else? Mickey D's. $5 deal hasn't affected sales yet. $5 deal starting to drive traffic. Backdrop has been more difficult. Interesting. So they think $5 meal is starting to drive traffic. $5 meal may be driving traffic. Their CEO just said that. I thought their CFO was up. Ah, well, whatever. Oh, well. Eddie says, my kids need to move out. Tough time. Yeah, 27 living at home. Yeah, I think as long as you're able to save, it's a great thing. You know? I mean, obviously you should be planning. You know, that might be you know, getting, advancing your education, getting ahead in your career, thinking about what's next in your career. I mean, some people are just happy chilling. That's fine too. Everyone's different. I bought a house and ended up moving some family in. Oh, there you go. Collect rent from them. So, is Apple falling? Let's see what's going on. Alright, let's see here. AAPL. Oh, yeah. Interesting. Apple just went negative. Q's now trending down. Tesla in pre-market also, again, roughly getting rejected by 2246 now. That's where we sit today. It was 225. Although that's still a psychological number that can hold well. Getting a little bit of a drop there into the open, it looks like. IWM's rotating down as well. Alright, let's listen into this for a moment. I'm also going to get a quick little piece of bread or something because I'm getting a stomach ache again.
Got caught on this one. He was trying to use traditional law, which says that if it's a security, it comes under his purview. But if it's not a security, frankly, it doesn't. And I think that former President Trump obviously falls in the camp that it's not a security. The CFTC is happy with that. So you do have this dichotomy of different branches of the government. One is kind of happy with crypto and recognizes that if we don't do it, it's going to go overseas. I don't want to say happy. And then you have Gensler, who was more circumspect and really was not happy with some of the lesser cryptos, which they don't feel merit owning. And they shared some of that stuff with me. And I got to tell you, there are some outlying coins that I don't think former President Trump may really want. But the fact is that this is strange to have a strategic Bitcoin, because the reason why you want that is because the government's spending so much money. Right. So on the one hand, you know, it's like it would be like if the government was spending a lot of oil. Yeah. And then you got to refill. But the fact is that if you think that the budget deficit is overwhelming, as Larry Fink does, then you would certainly believe it would be great. It's just that it's odd for the government to set it up. Yeah. Because the reason why we're in trouble is because the government. It'd be better if they cut spending than it would be if they adopted Bitcoin, crypto. Anyway.
If former President Trump wins re-election, one would, of course, anticipate he would fire a lot of people.
So he gets in.
He also might actually make people come back to the office, which would not be bad for Washington commercial real estate, which has suffered dramatically, in part because so many federal employees still are working hybrid.
CBRE called a bottom.
Anyway, I just saw this from the McDonald's team. Apparently, they say they're losing share in France, so market share, but they're going to introduce a €4 Happy Meal. So if you can't afford McDonald's in France, fear not. You can get a Happy Meal for just €4.
We got a lot. You got a Mad Dash coming up.
Oh, yeah.
That's going
is
to be
it a standing one or sitting?
This
is the thing, by the way, during the break, this is what they say. They don't say, like, wow, that was really good on Bitcoin. They say, it's standing or it's sitting. This is when we wait for the verdict.
Judging from the time, we might stand for our Mad Dash. I have a feeling.
Oh, man, I have a sitting suit on. I don't have a standing suit.
I know. I have my usual 2 suits on. Taking another look at futures, we get started with trading for the week here in 10 minutes. As we've shown you, we are expecting a higher open, of course. Keep an eye on bond prices and yields as well. Certainly important for this market. And will that continued historic rotation out of mega cap and into smaller cap companies continue? Oh, so many questions here on Squawk on the Street. We're coming right back.
Uh-oh. Jim Cramer said, oh, yeah. Will the rotation continue? Oh, yeah. He's like the Kool-Aid man. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah. Let's see here. Ho, ho, ho. So, what else? Oh, it's a little quiet. I mean, sort of like it's the quiet before the storm, you know? I mean, we're gonna be getting some crazy data this week. Uh-huh. So, we'll see. Let's see, what is this? Treasuries are rising to kick off the eventful week in global bond markets, putting U.S. debt on track for the third month of gains in what would be the longest rally in 3 years, thanks to expectations that the Fed is going to begin its rate-cutting cycle. Boy, it's been a while, huh? Been a while since we've had cuts. Years. Oh, that's wild. 9 minutes to the bell now. Yeah. Let's see what else we can read. Let's go. Nike bonds may rebound from stumble. Deadpool 3, a critical box office test for cinemas and Marvel. Yeah, that's probably good for AMC. It sounded like they had a record this weekend. They've been advertising that for years, though. It's kind of crazy. Years, I feel like they've been trying to prep up that story. Yeah, good for them. Okay. What else is news here? Today, this week in earnings, no. Latin America, what is this? What does Morgan Stanley have for us today? Adam Jonas, the Tesla bull again. You know, he only says bullish things. Making Tesla our new top pick in autos. Yeah, but he'll always say that. Hold on, let me adjust that. Like, I feel like if you're always only bullish, what good is it? We know what you're going to say. You say the same freaking thing over and over again. 40% upside to our $310 price target. Oh, yeah. Cost-cutting, restructuring. Tesla can still generate positive cash flows at these levels. Well, in fairness, Q2 was had substantially reduced cash flow loss, like cash expenditures, production and capex much lower. So Tesla's still making cars, aggressively redeploying internal incremental resources, technology, and people away from the auto side of the house. We found it notable that Ford management spent far more time in its Q2 conference call discussing EVs than Tesla did. Yeah, that's actually funny. Concerning the ZEV credits, equating to around $2,000 per unit, we believe it's because of legacy OEMs pullback. Totally reasonable. This is common, too. We anticipate other car companies like GM and Stellantis maybe wading more deeply into the zero emission electric vehicle market. We estimate Tesla may account for half the credit sales in the market, supporting 100% margin business for Tesla that may not be anticipated. Yeah, I mean, that goes away over time, but yes, it is nice extra cash. Tesla sourced 18.2% of revenues from China. Long-term exposure to China to fall. We think by 2030, China will account for just 10% of their auto unit volume. It's probably also a good thing. Services and other did make money from that. Energy storage was great. That was an excellent... And batteries are very, very high margin. Big fan of these. Optionality on new expressions in AI and robotics. Okay. Risk factors. Near-term expectations on FSD may be too high. We're not terribly surprised to see the 8.8 event postponed. The biggest tell as the governor of autonomous vehicle commercialization at scale is the lack of statistically, empirically tested safety data from anyone. We need something far beyond intervention data, and suspect the absence of such study may reflect that the system does not at this point clearly demonstrate beyond doubt the efficacy of the system versus a human driver. Autonomous cars are tasked with avoiding objects. There are other use cases where it may be easier to target objectives. Specifically, we believe expectations around Tesla's ability to commercialize autonomous technology in China are too high. I mean, this is very reasonable. I mean, this is basically the argument that we're not there yet, right? We're not there yet. That's fair. I appreciate them mentioning this. EV winter may be prolonged and could require further steps to mitigate potential losses. Elon still does not have 25% voting share. Is that it? That's it. A little bit more here. This is just their price target calculation. Oh, then they talk about Ford. All right. Interesting. Oh, that's also interesting. Look at that. IWM just... I thought they were up like 1% there for a moment. They just gave up. But BTC's holding, Tesla's holding, and the Qs are holding. See, BTC's mostly holding, Tesla holding, and the Qs are holding. But Apple negative. Look at that. Apple just kind of keeps plummeting. Why? Why is everyone going bearish? What is this nonsense? What is this? What is this nonsense, I say? Oh, well, we'll see. Enphase, 44. I mean, there's like no volume there. Nvidia. Ooh, Tesla just popped. Look at that. Testing the oh, there it goes. 224. Can it break? 224.30. This is the big moment right there. About 2 minutes to go until the bell. Whee! So, let's see here. Who wants to be? All right. Let's do a sound check here. Yep. All right. Ready to go. All right. Oh, wow. Enphase just went negative. Well, it just seems like things are going bearish. Oh, there's a little bit of a recovery there in Apple. Qs are dropping into the open. Nvidia is up 57 bips. Ubiquity's up a bit. ARM's going down 171. Google. What are we going to watch today? I think, obviously, Tesla. It's trying to break out right now out of its line. Nvidia. Apple's a good one. Bitcoin, obviously. Enphase. Google. AMD. IWM. Why is that here? I don't even know what that is. Oh, well, it's supposed to be Google. There we go. All right. Let's play some music here. Oh, of course, the Qs. Well, get ready for the start to a crazy week. It's gonna be crazy. It's actually gonna be really entertaining. I'm kind of excited about it. Oh, yeah. I just wish you the best of luck. Oh, let's put Palantir up here, too. Let's watch Palantizzle. Alright. Alright, alright, alright.
I mean, not exactly like you nailed it.
Jonas is similar to Melville.
Why is Stephen King still red? Sometimes he's scary, sometimes he's not. No, it's because he's a thoughtful guy, and we've been waiting for him to re-embrace Tesla. And he's re-embracing it in a way that was very cogent. I happen to think he's still a market mover like none other.
All right, let me do the honors here about what we heard here. Of course, that was the opening bell. Doing the
All right, it seems to be about 60-ish, 65% green. Looks like you got Tesla trying to push up. Tesla's going up. You got Palantir with a red candle on the Qs. You got IWM. Try to get a green candle there. It's turning red. Wow, look at AMD taking off from the 140 line. Green candle off of 119 on Enphase. Tesla really pushing right here. It's up about 3.3% right now. 227. That's a really good line. It's above, by the way. Nvidia is sitting at about, it's trying to find its direction here. So is Apple. McDonald's slightly green here. And then you've got, let's see here. What else? McDonald's slightly turns red again. Red on Nvidia. Ooh, Apple just tanked out of nowhere. And the Qs are tanking a bit too. Tesla really wants to hold on. It's really not wanting to give up here on some of its movement to the upside. Ooh, yeah, look at that. Look at that. Tesla just wants to keep going. So trend seems to be up right now on Tesla, where it's down on the Qs. And Nvidia is also trending to the downside. McDonald's rotating down. Netflix rotated down. Sunrun rotating down. ARM's rotating down. Yeah, still bleeding there on the Qs. But Tesla don't care. Tesla just keep going. And then you've got... is Apple going to stabilize here? It seems like we might be. IWM's holding on to a little bit. Interesting open. Let's listen in over here.
Not particularly helpful, but that's what a lot of people say. Is there something that you would see, Jim, that would give you some confidence that this rotation, this historic rotation, actually has legs?
Well, I just think that I look at it the other way around. The other stocks move so much that it really is great if the market broadens out and starts embracing Skyworks. If you take Skyworks, you take on some. I'm focused on the semis because they're top of mind today.
Yep.
You take a Skyworks, I mean, yes, because 66% of its business is with Apple. People have hated it.
Right.
Well, that's not right. I mean...
Okay, here you go. Nvidia now green. Apple's trying to go green. Qs are going green. It's all trying to go green now again.
What's going on with AI?
Well, let's talk about that for a moment, because you're referencing, I believe, a Bloomberg story, and I'm looking for it here in my pile. Here it is, where they essentially say that these features are going to come a bit later. Now, Apple, to its part, by the way, never said anything about when they would come.
No.
So it's not as though they're delayed per se.
Yeah, I mean, we ought to stop putting words in Apple's mouth. I mean, that never works.
Said, the idea being perhaps that they'll make Apple Intelligence available to software developers for the first time for early testing as soon as this week. And then that's atypical. They don't usually release previews of follow-up updates until around.
Nvidia's up now about 1.2. Tesla's over 4 now. Looks like you kind of keep running right here. Enphase really isn't picking up the momentum today, though. It looks like Qs are trying to recover. Palantir's trying. Google's trying. IWM's negative, barely. Enphase can't really take off. It really seems like your runner today, or at least right now, is Tesla. I don't know how long that'll last. Tesla and Nvidia. Those are your movers right now.
Fortune on data center, and they say, hey, you want access to our billion people? Give it to us for free, or maybe pay us.
Right.
So, I mean, look, the way, if you want to play overspend, by Apple.
Because they're, to your point,
when will people understand what I just said?
Certainly they're spending, but nothing approaching. They're not on the data centers and on the chips in the same way that Microsoft is, or Meta,
or Amazon.
So
when the
Alphabet.
stock goes to 230, you're going to start hearing people talk about what I said.
That's an interesting
And then
point.
it goes back
Free
down.
rider.
They're free rider.
Yeah.
Don't you like that?
Yeah, it is. Well,
I came up with it on Sunday.
So
when
what?
I did my piece.
They are like, okay, we'll develop the apps. Well, the new software, the phone will be capable of doing it. But
Exactly. And not only that, we're going to put some commercials in on their Amazon, Apple Plus, which is fine. I like Apple Plus.
And then we'll get all these new apps that are generative AI design, and we'll get 30% of the revenue for not spending any
Look, I mean, for all I know, they'll make it a
bake-off
like the NBA. And listen, if you pay us X, I mean, just turn the tables. If you pay us X, we will use your GPT. Meanwhile, Google, the gang that couldn't shoot straight, now we've got OpenAI coming after them too for search. And, everyone likes to make
all
that
those
story.
shares of Alphabet are recovering a bit. To your point, they were down the last 2 sessions. I believe Friday ended lower as well. Thursday, certainly, on this news of a ChatGPT search competitor.
Yeah, I mean, look, everyone.
Apple right at about that 117 rejection line. Let's see what happens there.
Novo Nordisk.
NVIDIA is nice right now. It's up 1.5.
Working on something. It's against everything else because the markets are too big. It's too big to not be in artificial intelligence. It's too big to not be in GLP-1s. And, you know, look, I was surprised. Bristol Myers, which did a very good job on its call, did not mention that they were moving into weight loss. They only mentioned the moving into schizophrenics.
But we do have any number of other companies that continue to focus on it. Now, we don't have there isn't a pill.
Roche.
Pfizer
could go buy Viking if they wanted to.
They're trying as well. You know, I did notice Lilly was down last week in part just because it's one of the largest market cap companies, period. That was the reason it was being sold.
Thank you, because this is not a Mag 7, okay? It's a big cap into, and it's not even into small cap, it's a big cap into like mid-sized.
It's an 800, almost, well, now it's not.
But if you're worth more than 500 million, they're going to billion. They're going to slice a bill out of you. A billion here, a billion there, kind of like Dirksen. Maybe they slice 100 billion out of you, like they did with Lilly. And you're just very vulnerable if you're over that level. Because what happens is people say, you know what, this is a good opportunity to sell and move into stuff I don't really know by using the index. That way I don't have to get.
Okay, taking a peek at what's going on here. It looks like Meta's not really going anywhere. I'm just kind of going down the rest of the list here. ARM's recovering, though. So ARM had a little bit of a sell down there at the open. Nice recovery, just as we're watching it very much right now. You've got Chipotle that's moving up about 0.5%. CrowdStrike's coming up 1.6. Rocket Mortgage up a bit. Robinhood 2.5. Supermicro 1.8. Vertiv's bouncing back about 3%. You've got Coinbase. Nice move on Coinbase. Back to the 250s. 4%. Nice move. And then you've got Affirm 1%. Let's see the big ones. Okay, Q's now continue to move up. Ooh, look at NVIDIA. It's now up 2.3%. That's a pretty big move there on NVIDIA. And then you've got the Q's also up about 64 basis points. Palantir also moving really nicely. IWM still holding on to some of that negativity. It's got a bad attitude going into the day, I guess. Apple's breaking above its 217 line here. IWM's trying to go positive. And, yeah, still moving there on NVIDIA. Tesla's getting a little stuck around that 228, 229 region. Been pretty common to see some red candles out of that. All right. Well, we shall see. Yeah, and Enphase is kind of giving up over here, huh? Very interesting. Somebody says, do you have Coinbase puts? I haven't had Coinbase puts in a long time. Let's see here. Yeah, and then you've got this sort of consolidation over here on BTC. You did hit that 70K level. The question now, I mean, this is just the 1 minute chart. But the question now is obviously, hey, you know, is this, where do we go from here? So, it seems like a breakout back to 69 wouldn't be out of the question. Not that this is like the best trend ever here, but it seems like it would suggest retouching 69. Okay, Qs keep going. Look at that. Pop up in the Qs right here. Very nice. Continue to move. Apple turns negative, barely. Enphase, can't figure it out. Tesla's starting to roll over a little bit. It's the first red candle I feel like I've seen on NVIDIA there in a moment. So let's see what happens. Let's listen in here for a moment.
Jim, this Deadpool Wolverine movie.
Well, you know what you
saw
need. You need the company. Okay, so the company reports.
I couldn't follow any of it, but it was funny. It was funny.
It was funny,
and people like it.
Super
apparently.
funny. Were you laughing on the inside?
I was laughing. He's very funny. Ryan Reynolds is very funny.
I love him.
He can deliver a line.
I love him. He's also got great products.
Incredibly well.
He's got mint. Good
it's
gin.
done very well. As of course did Inside Out 2. They've had real success at the box office, which they would say powers so many other parts of the business. Not to mention can have a positive impact on your streaming service because it may actually mean you don't have to spend quite as much on new content given the demand for movies like this one.
All right, if that's the case, why is the stock only up 50 cents, which frankly is pathetic?
Well, I would turn to you for that.
Well, because it's
Noted
a hated
Wall Street
stock.
funny man.
It's a hated Wall Street. Okay, so it's a hated stock, in part because they have no CEO, in part because
who has no CEO?
Well, they have no new person. They're like Boeing. They should have Mollenkopf in there.
Iger's not stepping down for years still. That's a while away.
Well, I'm just saying that
Boeing, Calhoun's stepping down soon. Boeing's got to find somebody.
Well, look, I'm just saying that I would expect Disney to be up $1.50. Because
on the strong
for all
box
the
office.
things that you just said, which is that the flywheel, okay, the cruise ships, characters, you have character
Games,
walking around,
characters, cruises, epic game. Yeah, you go on from there, right? And of course, the impact on streaming. So you think it maybe is underplayed by investors?
Yes,
oh, look, stock's up 1%.
Well, we need to hear from you, Johnson, the CFO. I say that every single time just to see if y'all ever get a rise from you.
Why?
I don't know.
Why?
Well, I've got other things to talk about. Just
Please,
so you know.
go talk about them.
How about this
Enphase is recovering here.
Justice Department issue? Data collection is a national security threat, the Department of Justice said.
That's where you went? TikTok data collection?
Well, TikTok rates.
A non-public company that apparently is not going to get shut down, or maybe it will, but if Donald Trump wins, it
hell
won't.
with it. I thought it was interesting.
It
Never
is
mind.
interesting. It is interesting.
I'm done with that. I said it. I'm switching to builders first.
Maybe it
source
would
now.
have a positive impact if it did get shut down on the likes of Meta, for example.
I moved on. Forget about it. I moved on. It was just something I wanted to talk about. How about Howard Schultz opposes Starbucks?
Yeah, no, let's talk about that. Let's talk about Howard Schultz. Come on. You love talking about Howard Schultz.
Well, it's just a little more
This is an
interesting.
FT story. I've been trying to get some sense here. Starbucks reports this week, right?
Yeah, Starbucks gonna have a really horrendous
Is there
quarter.
a chance that we get some sort of a settlement between Elliott, a large shareholder there?
I think
Starbucks Tuesday afternoon. Okay, so little challenging to really bet on a day's direction here, because it seems like every time you hit some of these upper levels that we've had in the last 10 minutes, you kind of get rejected. You got Enphase that's really trying to figure out what to do. It's just not playing the lines as well as I would expect. You've got the Q's now barcoding. Palantir doesn't know which way to go. Google doesn't know which way to go. IWM doesn't know which way to go. AMD's topping out. BTC's about to break my trend. Apple went positive, barely. Nvidia keeps trying to go up. Tesla has continued to try to go up, but it seems to be topping out right now, which is still pretty good. Don't get me wrong. 3.8%. Pretty good move. Let's see here. McDonald's actually up 2%, which is good after their, I guess they wanted to introduce that $4 value, or Happy Meal, not value meal. Very big difference. One's for kids. One's for everyone. I don't see euphoria, but I also don't see pessimism. It feels very neutral. I wonder how volumes are on the Qs. Oh, look at that. As I say that, the Qs rocket. That's actually pretty good. So if we zoom out, let's go to the first hour here. Well, it hasn't been an hour yet. I'd have to probably go, I'm gonna go 5 minutes. How are the first 5-minute volumes doing? Just want to compare this first 5-minute volume of about 2 million on the Qs to about 2.2 right here, 2.7 here, 2.4. Oh, only 1.1 over there. Wow. I was gonna say it seems like volume's a little muted, but no, not really. Oh, there you go. Qs are now picking up their direction. Look at that. Wow. Qs are almost up 1%. Which is interesting because IWM is only up about 12 basis points. And there was this idea, oh yeah, it's definitely a rotation into the smalls. Enphase still trying to figure it out. Oh, look at that. BTC's breaking through the trend. This is what we expected. We expected it to go touch 69. Nvidia still trying to break out of this little trap it's in here. Tesla's now trading sideways. And there goes McDonald's, almost up 3% on Mickey D's now. Nice. I mean, good for them. They've had such a rough time with wage issues and then inflation and foods. Crazy. Tough to be in the restaurant business right now.
They're kind of
Feel bad for that.
real hard time making cars because the warranty issue. You don't pick up a Mary Barra piece and see that there are warranty issues. She's the CEO of GM and is doing a remarkable job.
Yeah, although that stock also went down sharply on earnings that were.
Well,
decent.
yeah, they were, because I think that in the end they're still losing money on EV, and China's no longer good for them. Plus, everyone's worried about the China threat, the existential China threat of the cheap cars.
Hey, Kevin, great iced coffee pod. Really some awesome stuff, inspirational. Oh, that's awesome, Cole. Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Today is window dressing for funds. You should know this. Whatever the close today is what investors get in their statement. T+3. Ooh. Gotta pump it up, baby. Apple exploding. Let's see here. Waiting for the earnings reaction. Yep. All good. Summer, hope you feel better. I don't know whose Summer you're talking about, but if you're talking about my little Summer, girl's amazing. Not seeing the film where... let's see. Okay. I don't know that reference. Even if a kid has to order a second. Interesting. Why does Kevin call Bitcoin by its ticker symbol? It's too... I'm stuck in stocks, bro. Stuck in the stock mindset, bro. I mean, when I don't feel well... here's the Summer who doesn't feel well. Oh, sorry, Summer. Let's see. Biden proposes 18-year term limits for Supreme Court justices. Yeah. What time's the course member live stream? Usually it's like 10 or 15 minutes after we end this one. I take like a little coffee break in between. Get re-energized. I have not driven 12.5 yet, although I heard there's more of an eyeball nag now. Someone says Deadpool was funny. Nice. Keep your silver. Have fun with some. Enzo is not happy about silver. Enjoyed that as well, says no. Thank you. I'm a purchasing manager for a small chain of restaurants. Sales have been horrible this month. Jeez. Sorry to say that. It's terrible. Or, sorry to hear that. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. A tough market. Very, very, very tough market. All right, so Nvidia's topping out a little bit. Bitcoin basically touched exactly what we said it would after we drew this channel here. I mean, it's pretty straightforward TA. It's nothing special. Tesla had a little leg up here, and it's giving some of that back right now. I mean, overall, it's pretty enthusiastic day here. Seems like the market's somewhat happy. Qs, Google, IWM, AMD, kind of rolling over a little bit. Yeah, it's just, I mean, here's the 119 test on end phase. I don't feel bullish enough to go like YOLO weekly calls here on anything. And it just seems like things are getting rejected pretty quickly. Like the uptrends they're not lasting very long. Well, the Qs is averaging up. I mean, but then again, they were up, the 80 bip range pre-market as well. The McDonald's is up. That one's doing well. You've had a big sell down over at McDonald's. I wonder what the vol is on McDonald's. No, here's Amazon. Let's look at vol for some of these. Let's feel like McDonald's and Nvidia, or sorry, McDonald's and Amazon. Somebody says Enphase will run when rates drop. Yeah, see, I don't actually think a 25 basis point cut is going to do anything. And then people are going to be really disappointed when there's a rate cut. And it's like, wait, what? You mean to say 25 basis points didn't encourage people to buy a car or solar panels? Okay. So, McDonald's, somewhat low vol right now, honestly. That's pretty low right now. Cheap to buy options on McDonald's right now. Okay, what about Amazon? That one should be somewhat lowish vol. No, it's not. It's slightly above average. What about Tesla? I mean, that one's been pretty volatile. Oh, yeah. Pretty high on the volatility on Tesla. How about Nvidia? Also. And then the Qs. Oh, extremely high on volatility for the Qs. Wow. Wait, I don't even remember when it was that high. Let me go back for a moment. I'm going to go back to like 2020 to see if it's that high. Oh, no. Okay. We're as high as we were February of 23. But that's a huge vol spike. Let's see if I can draw a picture of that. Hold on. Or see if I can put some of this up on screen. That's very interesting. After volatility spikes. It's interesting. I'm trying to see what we had. There's no real clear guide in terms of what that means, but let me, I'll pull that screen up in just a second here. Oh, what's this? Nvidia is kind of rolling over. Not only is Nvidia doing that. Oh, but Enphase actually went positive. Nice. Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like Apple's kind of getting rejected as well. Tesla's still holding on. It's doing really well right now. Let's go with... Oh, yeah, here we go. So, convert to PDF. This is what the spike looks like on the Qs. So if I draw sort of a box, you can see you're kind of breaking out here. Highest volatility on NASDAQ since March of 23. That's somewhat interesting. Fed lowering rates will get people to wait for even lower rates. Why buy at 5.1 when you can buy at 3.5? It's a fair point. Fair point. Yeah, Jeannie says... So we actually read this Morgan Stanley piece. You know, the thing about Adam Jonas is he's been a Tesla bull for years. So, like... I think people are trading off of this like it's news. And it's like, not. But that's okay. Starbucks pissed me off when they got rid of the almond croissant and pistachio croissant. And their pumpkin spice latte should be permanent. All right. Some very strong opinions there. Does anyone not think Kevin is paid by Enphase? I don't know what you mean, but I'm not paid by Enphase. I'm not paid by anyone. Except for those of you who joined the courses on Building Your Wealth, link down below. You know, we have thousands of people that watch the course member live streams. We do some really good fundamental analysis and technical analysis, some good Q&A. So remember, you get lifetime access if you join the course. You join one time, one of the courses, you get access for life to all the course member live streams. And it's a lot easier to kind of, rather than have to plan out a video or whatever, to just sort of be very open about all my thoughts in the market. We also had some house hack updates in there yesterday. So this week could be fun, so we'll see. Right. Yeah, sure, Jason. Of course, you could get excited that, you know, the first would lead to successive rate cuts, of course. But, you know, you start pricing that in too early, assuming sales are going to skyrocket, you could be setting yourself up for a disappointment. Let's see here. What is your recommendation? Where's your full-time job? Well, Henderson, what a lot of people do is they listen back to the course member live stream on 2X afterwards. like later in the day or whatever, just to what's it called, to get some of the fundamental insights. You know, some people, they just sort of click past the technical analysis if they're not trading during that time, and then they jump into the fundies. Yeah. So, you are not interested in Microsoft, Kevin? Well, yeah, Microsoft. I mean, I think it's a great company, and they have substantially higher margin than Apple does. So they focus less on hardware and more on software. It's a really impressive company. I mean, I downloaded the last Bing update just to see, you know, what was going on with their little browser, and they're sort of building Gen AI right into the browser. It's kind of cool. You know, kind of cool what they're doing. So, not bad. And now, you know, will that be profitable for them? I don't know. Oh, ooh, look, Tesla kind of keeps slowly bleeding up, or melting up is generally what the phrase we like to use. Enphase still flat. Qs are, it's a very slow, relaxing uptrend today. BTC went under the trend. Yeah, Nvidia's kind of bleeding out a little bit. I don't know if Tesla will hold. It's like I said, I think it's a tough day for very short-term calls. But I do think you could set up some better longer-term positioning. Like, I think the shortest contracts I have right now are like September or October, or both. So I think there are a lot of opportunities to set up for that time frame. Let's see here. But it doesn't seem very, like, the market doesn't seem very directional today. Oh, CrowdStrike's moving up nicely, though. Ooh, look at CrowdStrike. Are they just coming off a bottom here today? Oh, they are. Look at CrowdStrike. Now, that's interesting. That is very interesting. Your first green day on CrowdStrike. It's like your first day back at school. Let's take a look at that. Because I want to see what the volatility is on that one. It's probably really high. And, oh yeah, Qs are ticking up as well. Enphase just went green again. Very nice. Okay, so volatility on Crowd, pretty dang high. So if you had shares in it, it almost makes sense to sell some options against it, just based on where vol is. Oh, pretty wild. Look at the Qs. Q's really trying to push positive right now. And then, what else we got? Let's see here. Let's go with, let's see, Super Micro. Oh, positive also. Nice. UPS, 55. Net. Cloudflare reports this week. It's going to be a pretty interesting one. Embraer's down a little bit. Trade Desk at 93. Well, that gave up a little bit. Wow, look at Tesla. Another leg up right here on Tesla. You're now at about 5 on Tesla. And Nvidia's holding on to its 2. Nice. 2.5 there for what's it called? McDonald's. All right, what else? Let's see here. Oh, let's see what some of these other suits have for a moment. Legitimately nothing. Okay. Are they really just all on a commercial? It's exactly 7. Oh, let's see what they have here.
Coverage on Bloomberg. Context changes everything.
Okay.
30 minutes into the trading day. Welcome to Bloomberg Open Interest. I'm Matt Miller.
I'm Shanali Bassett.
And I'm Katie Greifeld.
And coming up, a trio of central bank meetings this week. We're going to get decisions from the BOJ, the Fed, and the Bank of England.
We also get earnings from a quartet of Mag 7 stocks worth nearly $10 trillion combined. Microsoft, Meta, Apple, and Amazon results all on deck.
And from tensions in Venezuela to Kamala Harris's growing war chest, we'll survey the latest in global politics. But first, 30 minutes into the trading day, let's get a check on these markets right now because there's green on this screen. The S&P 500 continuing to climb right now, currently up about 0.5%. The Nasdaq 100, take a look at that, up 1% ahead of a pivotal week for earnings. And meanwhile, that bond market rally continuing right now. The 10-year Treasury yield currently down by about 2 basis points, Shanali.
Yep, IWM now up about 40 basis points as well. Went negative there for a moment. And NASDAQ now positive 1. So pretty good. Enphase up about 40 basis points. Pretty optimistic day here. 5.4 on Tesla. Let's listen in over here.
Kamala Harris looked like a shaky candidate who would probably be defeated by the hated Donald Trump. Oh, you can't have that. Trump said he had taken a bullet for democracy. Or did he? Was it a bullet or shrapnel? Anything to undermine the image of a fighting, resilient former president. Trump's going to be a dictator. He said so himself, although that left out 3 words, only one on day 1. They didn't mention that. Trump said he had avoided an assassin's bullet because he felt God was on his side. Whoa, the secular humanists who run most media laughed contemptuously at that. Then he named J.D. Vance as his running mate, and opposition researchers went into high gear, checking everything he had ever said or done. Childless cat ladies was not easy to explain to women. Same with Trump calling Harris dumb as a rock. The media played that up big time. They know Trump's language is a turnoff. By comparison, Harris can do no wrong, and that includes her sorry record on the border. They spent days trying to show Harris was...
This is so intense. Oh, it's just railing on him.
Medical coverage for all migrants and the abolition of ICE. Her record was just scrubbed clean. She called for guaranteed income programs, student loan bailouts, free community college, and the abolition of private health insurance. All of that conveniently forgotten in the rush to boost Harris and slam Trump. A week ago, polls showed Trump way out in front. Now it's a neck-and-neck race. Trump is playing defense.
Yeah.
Harris is enjoying a honeymoon. Such is the power of a media industry which has hated Trump since day 1. The second hour of Varney is just getting started.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see classic no bias Fox. Yeah, right. It's going to be really interesting to see what what happens, because it does seem like, polls are narrowing now, which makes it totally makes sense, right? It totally makes sense. Why would you why would Trump not be in a massive lead when he's against Biden, whom even Democrats don't want, right? Now you have somebody where Democrats are like, all right, maybe not my favorite pick, but I could get, used to Kamala Harris. And so that's going to narrow the polls a lot. Very curious to see how this evolves. Let's listen in here. Oops, this button.
Let's take a look at the calendar this week, Leslie, in case you have some free time available. Here are some things you might think about doing. Wednesday is a pretty big day, in part because we're going to get some economic data that the Fed really likes to follow. ADP and the employment cost index is a big thing for Fed Chair Powell. Along with the next day, you have productivity and unit labor costs come in that day. And then you've got the non-farm payrolls expected to show an unchanged unemployment rate. And then a non-farm is ticking down, still pretty strong, though, at 190,000. So that's just this week. Before the September meeting, well, you're going to have another employment report. And you'll have, I think, 2 more inflation reports, because you'll get one in the middle of August and then one in the middle of September, just before the Fed meets again. So, the Fed...
Oh, yeah, you are going to get the ECI. I totally missed that one. So on the 31st, which is Wednesday morning, in addition to being Fed Day and ADP Employment Report Day, you're getting the Employment Cost Index. Employment Cost Index. Expected to be 1%. We're not really worried, though, about ECI. J-Power already kind of threw that bathwater out. I did just notice Bitcoin lost Not yet. 69,000. So we'll see what happens there.
Part of managers that maybe they're on the wrong side of this. I think, David, if you look at that inflation chart I put up, you look at trajectory of inflation, you could make a cut that the Fed is at or near where it needs to go, and things are certainly on the way. I think a big story here, and Dudley mentioned this, and I've said this a bunch of times, it is increasingly looking like the inflation spurt that we got at the beginning of the year was that residual seasonality stuff. In other words, things that...
It does, frankly, look like that. All right, let's look at some comments here. Going to be a good week on trading. There's going to be a lot of volatility on trading. That's for dang sure. Did I see Trump playing golf? I did see that. I think everybody saw that. That video has like 10 million views already. You know, trying to score under 50. And it's funny, like, even after watching it, they just kind of, like, keep recommending it. Yeah, a lot, very, very, very probably high click-through rate on that. Everybody wants to see Trump actually play golf. It was good. So, Dems want to tax unrealized gains. If you are in the market, you should never vote Dem, says someone here. If Kamala wins, we are screwed, says Keeper D. They should have a debate this week. Yeah, I'm all for them debating. Bitcoin sell-off, yeah, it's holding on to that 69 line right now. What else here? Let's see here. Straight Chillaxin says he's been trying to get into God lately. What else? Trump is a workaholic. See, I wish I knew how to play golf. Because then you could work while... See, the cool thing about golf is you can actually... you can talk to people while you're golfing. You know, a lot of sports, like if you play tennis, you can't really talk to the person. I mean, you talk in interchange, right? So after a game or after a set, you take a little break and you talk. But the more you talk, the less you're playing. Whereas in golf... You spend so much time just getting where you're going. It's great. You can do lots of talking. I thought that was really interesting. Just sort of comparing the sports a little bit. You know, obviously, these, you know, the same could probably be said about a lot of different sports, but I thought it was very interesting. That's why people play golf. Yeah. Private talking too. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like The Sopranos. You know, you probably don't have to worry so much about microphones. Unless the other guy's wearing a wire. Yeah. Kevin, what brand of coffee do you drink? Kirkland. Even though I'm bearish Costco. I wonder how Costco's been. Costco. Well, it's fine. 8.19. I mean, it's off its peak. But it's not bad. Golf is an excuse. When's the... Yeah. Yeah, I think every broker's going to be different there, Lost. You might want to email their customer service on that. So, we'll see. All right, what else here? Look at this. AMD kind of gave up on the day, honestly. Oh, look at that. Oh, bounce on 140. I've got a line at 140 if you're looking for AMD. AMD bounce-a-dudes. 140, 140. You've got Enphase trying to keep it over that 119. Bitcoin bearish. Dropping under 69er. 69er 9er. 69er for Papa. CrowdStrike gave up its rally. Palantir gave up its rally. Oh, the Qs are coming down. They're rolling over. They're giving up. It's over. Bitcoin's signaling the market collapse. Folks, market rolling over. Oh, yeah. Well, Apple did just give up all of its gains. Nvidia is trickling down here. Tough day, huh? Because the up wasn't really violent up, and then it got toppy, and then I'm like, I don't really feel like going short-term calls here is the play. I think it's like a patience thing, and probably, you know, there's a chance of it rolling, especially since we drew the Bitcoin line. It literally did what we said it was gonna do. Like, oh, it's gonna test. This is the trend. We drew it when it was like right here. We're like, here's the trend. Well, this would suggest a breakdown, and that's exactly what it did. So, Tesla's really the only one holding up right now. And volumes are pretty stable. Nvidia, no. AMD doesn't even want to keep going. IWM doesn't want to keep going. Qs don't want to keep going. Palantir doesn't want to keep going. CrowdStrike doesn't want to keep going. Sunrun's down 3.4%. ARM's down 2%. DJT's down 4%. I feel like I see Open Door plus or minus like 5% every day, and it's always at 250. It just never leaves 250. Trade Desk, all the way down to 93. Probably after those Google earnings. Upstart, sitting at, what are we at now, 27 here? Yeah. Kind of boring. No other news here. Sort of watching to see if the market will stabilize here, or if it's just going to slowly bleed down. Right now, it feels like it's going to slowly bleed down on the day. You know, Nvidia's doing that, Apple's doing that, Bitcoin's doing that, Enphase mostly doing that, AMD's doing that, the Qs are doing that. Everything's slowly bleeding down right now. Yeah, even Tesla. So, we'll see. We shall see. Yes. Is McDonald's still holding on? Oh, yeah, McDonald's up 4%. You're right. Who's Kevin backing for president? Meet Kevin. I'm writing him in. This dude. He goes by Meet Kevin. He's getting written in. Ellis says, sell everything. Sentiment always turns in the AM. I always think it's funny. It's like, one moment is this, one moment is this. Yeah. Anyway. There she blows. Apple goes negative. Nvidia's going down. Bitcoin keeps going down. Enphase's going down. AMD's breaking the line. Qs are breaking the line. It's all going down. It's all going to crap. All of it. Rip. Anyway. Whatever. Alright. Is it time for more, time to go to the course member live stream? I don't know. Let's see. Do you have a coupon code expiring in a couple days? Let me see. I want to see first what's on Doomers. Oh, nothing right now. It's freaking boring. All of them, there's so little news right now. They all just keep going to commercial breaks. Let me try over here. Let's see what the suits are saying. So the suits are saying 10-year yields have 3% in sight this year. Oh, that's cute. Stock recovery is at the mercy of potentially underwhelming stock earnings. Yeah, no kidding. U.S. equity futures are continuing to rebound with a rotation. Pausing out of big tech. Blah, blah, blah. Mood will be quickly shattered if investors continue to take the glass half full view of results. Shout out to those of you joining Stocks and Psych just over the last bit here. Eduardo, Alan, Trevor, Barat, Pablo, David, Woojin, Moto, Trung, Gorchakov, Gorchakov. Thank you for joining. Jake, Paul. Ooh, Paul with the bundle. Went for getting SH9T done faster. Nice. And then that's awesome. It's a good one. Yeah, that's the newest one too. Oh, shout out to those of you just joined. Yeah, we'll have a coupon expiring this week, so the price will just go up again. Remember, you get price match guarantee and lifetime access. Okay, so the bleed continues right now. Somebody's like Gorbachev. Thank you, Heike, on the pod comment there. Kevin should open a chain cheese steak restaurant named Meet Kevin. Yes. Yes. Meet Kevin. You all thought it was the wrong thing. All right. Okay, getting a little bit of a Q's bounce here. Like today just feels directionless. That's why I'm saying like I have no weekly calls. I don't have any calls or puts for next week. No puts and calls for this week. Nothing near term. I'm actually not even very heavily deployed in my trading right now, mostly because I'm like, I'm just going to wait to see what the data is. So, and then I sort of buy the dip a little bit, you know. So we'll see what way this goes. No, McDonald's wants to keep pushing. Are the Q? Oh, IWM goes negative again. Qs are trying to recover, but we'll see. We'll see. You got a lot happening this week. I really think it's hard for people to buy this. Like, how do you buy right now? You gotta wait for this week, man. Otherwise, you're making a bet. My bet is it's going down after this week, but I could be wrong. I hope it's wrong, because I think it'll be better for my startups if the market goes really, really bullish. So, you know, the market sells off. People get bearish. So, anyway. All right. Well, yeah. If anybody has house hack Q&A, by the way, based on what I posted yesterday, let's chat about that in the course live here. And in case you're not in the course lives and you didn't see the alert yesterday, I just briefly put a little ping out, just surveying if it was really just sort of a test the waters, not a solicitation. We're not offering anything right now, but basically an update on how we figured out some really cool tax strategies, but then also how we asked if we were to IPO sooner for House Hack, should we do another fundraise before that? That's something we were talking about. Both accredited and non-accredited, probably a 25K minimum unless you've previously invested. And then people wonder, they're like, oh, why 25K minimum? That's like, well, when we had a 25K minimum, we raised twice as much money as we did when we had a 5K minimum. And we did that with like 430 investors at a 25K minimum and 2,500 investors at a 5K minimum. So, you know, how many emails do you want to reply to? 430 or 2,500? You know, so it was really interesting. Really, really interesting. So, anyway. Kevin to the moon. Oh, well, thank you for that. Let's see here. Somebody writes, Rishi Luxury says BTC to 0. I think you'll probably always have residual buyers. Hey, Kevin, finally found this site exciting. Ooh, what site is that? My OnlyFans? Yeah, everybody's like, I've gotten so many messages or comments of people like, after what I told Graham, people were like, what? I mean, I thought it was a pretty straightforward question. Yeah, Rob, it's just to buy more deals. We actually think now is going to be a really good time to buy deals. So, and it's really important to just keep proving that when we have capital, we can deploy it really well. You know, underwriters get nervous if like you do bad things with capital, obviously, and rightfully so. So, find that very interesting. Anyway, we'll have a little bit more of an update on that. People always say, Kevin, you have so many things going on. I really feel like I don't. It's like I don't know, maybe everything's just like organized and handled really well, but I kind of feel like I don't feel short on time. I feel like I have plenty of time. Oh, we're not gonna SPAC. Oh my God, no. No. We would never SPAC. The benefit, by the way, of going public in the future is that you know, you could take advantage of potentially cheaper interest rate bonds or even convertible bonds. I have a buddy who may be very interested, real estate developer in the Austin area. Yeah, we think that right now it's buy time in the underbuilt COVID market, so like Cali, and then we think probably the Austin and Florida market bottoms sometime between Q4 this year and early next year. So we'll see. Nope. House hack, you know, when and if we raise again would be open to all international investors as well. International is also pretty crazy. Somebody says becoming an attorney is wild. Oh, did you hear that? Yeah, that is true. I'm going to take the LSAT in November. I'm telling you, it's like, I'm bored. So, let me see here. Somebody says Elon tweeted. Oh, no, Elon tweeted. 4 minutes ago, Legacy Media NPC Grovel Fest. Donation level from Alphabet and University of California are insanely high. Oh, to Biden versus, yeah. Well, JD Vance doesn't help that. You know, JD Vance is kind of pro-con over at the FTC, which is sort of anti-merger. And so, you know, a lot of big tech seems to really like Kamala because of that. That doesn't mean there isn't a lot of Silicon Valley that that likes Trump. Oh, look, you're getting a little bit of a rebound here. Yep. Q's rebounding a little bit. Russell's still negative. Enphase at 119. Oh, the Q's are trying to recover too. Nvidia's trying to recover. Tesla's picking up again. Nice. 5.7. It's pretty good. If that's all off of Adam Jonas, geez. I mean, he's been bullish forever, so nothing's changed. But I think for some reason, sometimes people just go buy when they hear, oh, well, Morgan Stanley says it's going to go up. But then again, you also had Elon over the weekend going, oh, it's going to the moon. Like, okay. 7 kids on your board. Well, I play Nerf guns a lot with Jack and Max. We also play Playmobil, which is pretty fun. And the little girls and Jay, they sleep a lot. So. Oh, Eduardo says, thanks, I just joined Stocks and Psych. Oh, that's awesome. Welcome aboard. Yeah, we're going to go to the course member live stream. I'm going to pour another cup of coffee and we'll go to it. Yep. All right. We need Rust 2 ASAP, and then Kevin's boredom will go to 0. That might be true. You know, what you really need is to kill the cheaters. There's so many cheaters in Rust. It's like not even worth playing. Renovation hacks? Haha, yeah. Yeah. Videos just don't perform very well, but maybe. All right. I gotta go. Let's get, I'll make another cup of coffee and then we'll go to the course member live stream in like 5 or 10 minutes. And Kevin needs to play some RuneScape. I do love RuneScape. Wow. All right. Lauren's played Rust with me today. You should see her with the bow. She's crazy. How was it like playing Deadpool? Even though I'm a licensed financial advisor, real estate broker, and becoming a stockbroker, this video is neither personalized financial advice nor real estate advice for you. It is not tax, legal, or otherwise personalized advice tailored to you. This video provides generalized perspective, information, and commentary. Any third-party content I show should not be deemed endorsed by me. This video is not and shall never be deemed reasonably sufficient information for the purpose of evaluating a security or investment decision. Any links or promoted products are either paid affiliations or products or services which we may benefit from. I personally operate and actively manage ETF and hold long positions in various securities, potentially including those mentioned in this video. However, I have no relationship to any issuers other than HouseHack, nor am I presently acting as a market maker. All right. Heading over to Course Member live stream. We'll see you on the next one, everyone. Thanks so much. Goodbye and good luck.